Hello and welcome back everyone for the English session. Today in this video lecture we are going to talk about a beautiful poem, a photograph written by Shirley Touslon. In this poem, the poetess talks about 3 pages which she encountered or which she observed in fact in her mother's life, either in her presence or in her absence. First of all, let us start this video discussing about this photograph. You can see 3 girls here enjoying near the beach, enjoying perhaps the 3 holy days. And you can see the photo frame too. Similarly, probably at your home, about your parents or grandparents, some old photographs might have been there. You might have seen your parents' photos when he was or she was a child. They might be doing some funny things, wearing some funny clothes, and this type of scene makes you laugh. Even your parents will laugh looking at the photo which was generally taken in their childhood. Similarly, in this poem, we are going to talk about perhaps photo of this kind of photo, where the poetess mother had spent her good times with her 2 sisters, cousin sisters, at the beach. Before we proceed into the poem, let us discuss something about the poetess Kathleen Shirley Touslon. Her lifespan consists of 20th May 1924 till 23rd September 2018. She was an English writer, a poet, a journalist, and a local politician. As a poet, she was a member of the group, an informal group of poets who met in London from the mid 1950s to the mid 1960s. She was a member of the member of the group. The group was known as informal group of poets, and they used to spend time with each other. All the poets used to spend time with each other in the time between 1950s to 1960s. She was a well-known poet and married to the poet also. But let us talk about this poem. In this poem, the poetess has beautifully described 3 pages. 2 pages includes when her mother was alive and the way she spent her childhood and what was her reaction in the middle age. And the last page talks about the time when the poet's mother was no more. Before we proceed into the poem, let us discuss some of the important words which will come in the poem. And if you have better understanding about these words, then appreciations of the poem will become quite easy for you. Remember, transient means temporary, something lasting for only short time. Then you have word re, that means disgusted, labored. We already know about this word. Still, achieved after lots of hard work. You will encounter a word paddling in the poem. Now, paddling means walking through the shallow water in barefoot. So these words you have to keep in mind. There are not many difficult words in the poem. Poem is quite simple, covers the 3 different phases of life. But if you have understanding about these words, then appreciation becomes quite easy. So let us Come to the main poem, that is our poem. The cardboard box shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and see the big girl, some 12 years or so. The cardboard shows me how it was. Now, when the poet talks about cardboard, she doesn't talk about some hard cardboard boxes in which generally we we pack the luggage. But if you have seen some old photographs of your parents, or if not your parents, then it might be of your grandparents. In the, I mean, ancient time, when the photographs were invented, I'm talking about that days. The photo was not taken in very soft paper. It was taken into hard paper. So as cardboard is hard, in that type of hard paper, photograph was taken. So that indicates that the cardboard shows me, means here the photograph shows me how it was when the two girls' cousins went paddling. The poetess, while searching some old material, had seen an old photograph of her mother. In that photo, the mother was with two girls, and these two girls were no one but they were mother's cousins. It was a holiday time, and mother had gone with these two cousins to the beach, and they were walking around the seashore, that is indicated by the word paddling. Paddling previously, while talking about words, we have written meaning here. Walking through the shallow water in barefoot. As you can see in the picture 2, you can imagine how these two girls holding hand in hand with mother, they were walking by the seashore. Both cousins stood on either side. I mean, one cousin was on the right side, another was on the left, and that moment was clicked into a photo. Each one holding one of my mother's hands. When the poetess talks about all these three, she also mentions that, and see the big girl, some 12 years or so. When the poetess says that, and see the big girl, she, the big girl, means here her mother. Out of all these girls, she was the tallest, and she was the big girl. I mean, mother was the big girl, and at that time when this photo was taken, mother says was some 12 years or so. After enjoying some time of walking there and having fun with each other, all three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. They had the uncle present there. Uncle had a camera. These three girls had a great fun at that place. After they enjoyed a lot, they stood there. Generally, these days there is a trend of selfie. In those days, selfie trend was not there, but people used to have this moment captured in the photographs. So uncle had the camera and he clicked the photo. The mother had a sweet face. My mother's, she says, a sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. Obviously, at that time, mother's age was only 12 years. If the mother was only 12 years old, obviously she wouldn't have been married, and as a result, there was no presence of the poetess. I mean, even the poet was not born. But she might have come to know about all these things through the talk of her mother. That this photo might have been taken at the age of 12. And the sea, which appears to have changed lace, was that terribly transient feat. Transient means temporary. After having this wonderful time at the sea area, these girls might have come back. They might have got busy with their life. They would have grown older, and there would be lot of change in their life. What didn't change was the sea. According to the poetess, everything changed, but the sea did not change. Mother's life changed, these two cousins' life changed, but the sea remained as it is. You know that whenever we walk by Chowpatty or perhaps a seashore, we have our footprints there, but as soon as the waves come to the shore, all our footprints are washed away. This is symbolic here in the poem. What the poetess says that all those memories were washed away by the sea waves. The time has changed. Everything has changed. Mother's life was changed. Even cousins' lives were changed. What didn't change was the sea. The sea remained as it is. After this wonderful innocent childhood, mother's life changes drastically. Now let us come to the second stanza. And some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. The poetess did not remember exact year. That's why she says with unsurety, it was 20-30 years later. She would laugh at the snapshot. Here, snapshot indicates the photograph. It might be some 20-30 years later. Mother had this photograph clicked when she was only 12 years old. If she had seen that photo after 20 years, then perhaps you can imagine that she was 32 years old. Or had she noticed that photograph after 30 years, then you can imagine that she was 42 years old. So you can lump sum, approximately imagine that she was somewhere in her middle age. The mother had seen the same photograph when she was in the middle age. Here she tells us the name, see Betty and Dolly. Now here in the first stanza, we were told that the mother was with her two cousins and their names were not mentioned. But here the poetess informs us that mother had informed that those two cousins' names were Betty and Dolly. This Betty and Dolly, they are the names of mother's cousin. So here in the middle age, when mother saw her photo of childhood, when she was only 12 years old, she laughed at her own photograph. Obviously, it happens with us also. If we see our photo of 10 years of age or 5 years of age, the way we wear the clothes, the way we appear, the way we make fun and all this that makes us laugh. Similarly, when mother in the middle age saw that photo, she also laughed. And she said that see Betty and Dolly and look how they dressed us for the beach. She also informed her daughter, I mean poetess, that how we used to wear the clothes. Because obviously, being a child, she wore innocent clothes of childhood. At that time, she did not know that she would grow up, she would be married, she would have a child, and she would be showing these same photographs to her child. So she laughed at the dressing which they generally had at the beach. After that, the sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. There is a great contrast in our life too. You know, dear students, that your childhood is perhaps the best time you have in your life. After your childhood is gone, you will regret about it. Why am I not having my childhood now? You might have heard about this from your parents, grandparents too. They are missing their childhood. Childhood is considered to be a golden time in a person's life. It is called carefree childhood. There is no rush for earning money, no rush of responsibility there, carefree life. So here is a deep line, I mean deep meaning of this line. The sea holiday was her past, her carefree time, I mean a time which she enjoyed became her past. And with that her laughter, free laughter had also gone. Her fun had also gone. Both re with the labor is of lost. Both disgusted, both disgusted with labor is of loss because of hardship of life. All the golden time had gone. Now there was a great change in mother's life. Time has changed a lot. Generally, this time waits for none. It changes for everyone. So mother was thrown into the responsibility of life. This line indicates that. Now let us talk about the third stanza. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. Here in the beginning, the poetess has talked about the mother when she was only 12 years old. Now here indirectly what she says that it has been 12 years that since her mother died. So her mother died now by this time when the poetess is writing this poem. It has been 12 years or so. And of these circumstances, there is nothing to say at all. She misses her mother badly. She feels her absence. She wants a mother, but time gone cannot be revived. So there is nothing to say at all, she says in a sad tone. It's silence, silence is everywhere. When she looked at this photograph, she remembered the talks of her mother. She remembered what her mother used to say about this photo and all. So you need to remember this poem in three different pages, where here she talks about when she was 12 years of age. Here mother was in middle age, and here in the third stanza when she was no more, it describes the pathetic condition of poetess when she misses her mother. Let us have a quick summary reading about this poem and then we can wind up this video. A photograph by Shirley Touslon is a beautiful poem in which speakers recalls memories of her deceased mother. Means this is not suffering from some sort of disease. Disease means dead mother. In the first part of a photograph, the speaker describes looking at photograph of her mother as a child. Through this, she is able to get across her feeling about time and how quickly it moves. Something like the sea stay the same while her mother did not. The second part of the poem takes the scene into the speaker's own life when she was looking at the same photo with her mother. She recalls the sound of her mother's laugh and how she hasn't heard it for 12 years. So, in three different phases of life, you have to remember this poem, and indirectly, the poem also indicates the poetess' affection of for her mother, the way she misses her, and that one single photograph reminds her everything. And that is why we have the title of photograph. This is a beautiful poem. It can be touching when we will come across with this phase of our life, some of the people who are not among us, and when we see their photo it reminds us of that. So this is a beautiful poem, and I want you to read it again by self and try to appreciate this beauty of the poem. We'll surely come with the next video with another content. Till then, it's goodbye from me. Have a wonderful day ahead.